Okay, you want to do the show?
I do want to do the show. Let's do it.
All right. It's the last episode.
My God.
Do you want to do the intro?
I'll do it. I'm going to do it right, too. I'm
Here we
going to do
go.
it right. Hello, and welcome to
Danny
52.
Go on.
Welcome to 52 Pickup.
The pipes are calling.
This is
From
now
Glen
and
to
forever the
Glen
greatest
and
podcast
down the mountainside
about the greatest comic that
The
you,
summer's
I hope on the 52nd
gone,
or so
and all the roses
recording of this podcast, I hope you have
dying.
actually heard of it, but you probably, it
Tis
still might be the
you,
greatest
tis
podcast, greatest comic you've never
you.
heard of.
Must go and I must find.
I am being serenaded
But
by
come ye
professional comics expert Alex Jaffe.
When
But-
summer's in the meadow.
But I myself am Gita Jackson. I'm Gita. What's up?
When the valley's hushed and white with snow.
I can't believe it's over. I'm gonna
And
cry.
I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Daddy boy, I love you so. I'm Alex Jaffe.
Thank you, Alex. What a beautiful voice. Sorry, I had to. I can you believe that we've done a podcast about every single issue of this comic book?
No, I really can't.
Because we got one more to go.
Yeah, we've almost done it. We not only have we covered almost every episode of 52, we even trawled our way through the World War III event. We did this setup where we explained how our entire brains broke over this series. We talked to Geoff Johns. We talked to Mark Waid. We talked to Greg Rucka a couple times. We talked to Alex Sinclair. We talked to some other people off the record, got some cool information from them. We talked to some of my favorite people in the comic book industry, writers, journalists, podcasters. And I think the thing that I have gotten the most out of from this series is that I finally have a concrete answer when I am asked to the question, what's your favorite comic book? Because I've spent so much time thinking about this and growing around this that it can't be anything other than 52.
I mean, when I got to this issue in particular, I remembered why I was obsessed with this comic for years. It's just, I remembered, in my memory, some of the plot lines took up much more space than they actually did, right? Like the question Renee plotline, I remembered all of that rap. I remembered that being the primary plotline and then it being the major events of this issue, but I was so wrong. But what takes place in this issue instead, it's comic books. Like, is the most complimentary way I can possibly say that. It's comic books. It honors the writers, the fans. It gives a whole bunch of people a bunch of cool prompts to work off of. Some of them will go places and some of them won't. But it makes you feel so satisfied for having been here for a whole year. It pays off in a way that a lot of comics don't. And what a miracle that is.
God. There are so many stories that come out of 52 that are just, that we have barely even touched on. There is Geoff Johns' Booster Gold arc is some of the best work that he's ever done. That happens right after this, inspired by his entire run.
I was about to say, like, if you want anything to read immediately after this, Geoff Johns' arc on Booster, I started picking that up right away. And I mean, it's so good, especially they do tie-ins for all of the old crises.
Yeah.
So there's a fucking 0 Hour tie-in. It's a real tribute to the continuity nonsense that has taken place in the history of the DC universe. It's a love letter in the same way as this issue feels like a real love letter to the project they've just completed.
Peter Tomasi does a great Black Adam miniseries, Black Adam: The Dark Age, that comes out right after this, that really sits with Black Adam in that moment that he's brought into his lowest in a way that's really satisfying. Keith Giffen goes on to do a series called The Four Horsemen, where those Four Horsemen guys that Black Adam beat up come back And now that Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are in the fold again, they deal with them. And it shows like, stand back. This is why these heroes are the greatest there've ever been. There's The Question, the 5 Books of Blood. Renee Montoya's mystery to investigate the cult of crime continues until it takes her all the way to the top of the pyramid in a confrontation with the original criminal, Vandal Savage. So much creativity comes out of this series, which was created to fill the gaps of some kind of spreadsheet that Dan DiDio put together a year earlier that it just simply did not. But what it did was reverse engineer so many other cooler stories.
Yeah, I think this is when you really take a look at it, everyone wants creators to have the utmost freedom. And like, I believe in that. I do. I really do. I think things like the Krakoa arc on X-Men getting cut short because of editorial reasons, that kind of stuff. Or I was going back through and rereading some Legion stuff while I was trapped in California for 2 days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And there's so many instances where an arc is finished by an eponymous writer just in time because of editorial reasons, you know?
The Alan Smithy of DC Comics. Yeah.
Yes, it happens so frequently, but I do think that there is some value in taking on a project for hire as long as your boss lets you write whatever you want for that project, because you can sometimes end up with shit like this.
Right.
Where people, they were given a problem, decided not to solve it, and then just told an incredibly good story, just instead using those characters.
It's so hard to do a good event comic. I can't believe, like, the reason that I am so excited to do this is that this is one of the only times it's ever worked. DC has this crossover event happening right now called DCKO. It's so bad, Gita. It's not a good comic.
It didn't look very good.
They don't understand like what is good about a tournament arc. It's just like when you have to get everybody in the room together to coordinate on this big story where all of your pieces are involved.
You have to have some kind of incredible alchemical formula in order to get this to actually work. And so rarely does it to pull off. I mean, thinking about how different these 4 writers are is just something that is a marvel to me when I think about how this came together. Some of these writers have like diametrically opposed opinions on what a good comic is.
Yeah.
You know? I think some of these writers probably don't like each other anymore. But I do think like there was some fucking magic happening here. And I think that this is a perfect final issue. It even does something that editorial clearly demanded, but in a way that I find super fun.
Yeah. So here we are, the very end. We never did get to talk to Grant Morrison, but as it happens, the day we are recording this, Morrison happens to be doing an AMA on Reddit. And I did ask them a question. So if you want that, then I can include that here.
Oh boy. Wait, did they answer?
Yeah, here it is.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I asked them specifically, I had the opportunity to ask Grant Morrison one question. And the question was about, hey, why do you keep posting AI images on your Substack? And here's what famed comic book creator Grant Morrison had to say. Ultimately, AI will become another tool and collaborator. It's a technology that won't be stopped by the looks of it. It's concerning when you've developed a personal style and approach that can be copied by an efficient machine capable of doing a fair copy of your work in 30 seconds. And creative people rightly fear the loss of paying jobs, but so far the AI isn't innovating. It's just collage and repetitive imagery. New art movements can now evolve ahead of AI's capacity to keep up. Maybe we'll see a fantastic explosion of outsider art and Joycean invention. Okay, Grant.
I mean, I don't think he's wrong necessarily, but I do think that he should probably just stop using it if that's what he thinks.
Yeah, I think so, man.
Like, if that's what you think of AI, I think you should stop using it because it doesn't sound like you think it's good.
Right.
It is basically just collage. You are absolutely correct. I mean, I'm glad that they haven't like lost their capacity for reasoning, but I do question their choices.
Let's talk talent here.
Yes.
We've got a ton of talent returning to this issue.
I know.
Especially when we get to a particular sequence, there's kind of a little bit of an art jam in the middle of this where they get to bring in everybody.
Like I said, it's a real love letter to the previous 51 issues, right?
Yeah. We've got Chris Batista from issues 5, 10, 17, 20, 29, 31, 40, and 45. We've got Eddie Barrows from issues 8, 12, 18, 22, 44, and 49. We got Patrick Olive from issues 19, 25, 26, 32, 37, and 46. Derek Robertson from issues 42 and 48. Pedophile Justiniano from issue 50. And series newcomer Mike McCone, previously collaborator with Jeff Johns on Teen Titans. On inks, we've got Andy Lanning from issues 6, 8 through 11, 24, 25, 35, and 38. Drew Garassi from issues 19, 25, 26, 32, 37, and 46. Rodney Ramos from issues 27, 28, 31, 33, 40, 41, 44, 45, 46, and 49. And Walden Wong from issue 50. On lettering, we have Ken Lopez, previously of issues 22, 43, 45 through 47, and 50. Our editors in this final issue, Harvey Richards, since 52 number 1, Janine Schaefer, since 52 number 2, and Michael Siglane landing the plane since 52 number 27. As our cover, as always, is J.G. Jones and Alex Sinclair. And lastly, Mr. Jeffrey Johns of Detroit, Michigan, Mr. Gregory Rucka of Steinbeck Country, California, Mr. Mark Wade of Hueytown, Alabama, Mix Grant Morrison of Glasgow, Scotland, and Mr. Keith Ian Giffen of Queens, New York City, New York State. That is our gang. Big hand for the whole crew.
I just can't believe it. I want to cry. And also, literally, the cover is perfect.
The cover is incredible.
The cover is perfect. The first issue was a monument to our fallen heroes that were gone for the duration of this comic. The Trinity that is usually the cornerstone of DC Comics. However, in this cover, it is a mirror image of that. So much so that when I first saw the second volume of 52, of which this is the front cover, I thought I had to do a double take because I was like, isn't that the same one? No. The iconography that is now on this grave of a fallen soldier is in tribute to all of the heroes that we've watched pass away during the duration of 52. So what have we got on this tombstone?
We got a fedora perched on top of the plinth for our man, Vic Sage, the Question. We've got the long costume of elongated man wrapped around it like a coil. We've got the pendant of Isis hanging off the side. We've got her tiara draped at the base along with Ralph Dibny's flask of Jingold as the surviving heroes of Buddy Baker, Booster Gold, Renee Montoya, and Steele all look on, joined by the entire cast of the DC Universe.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's heartwarming. It's touching. It is a tribute to the thing that I think DC does best, which is acknowledge legacy. Acknowledge that characters grow and change and identities change, right? That characters can take on the mantle of other characters and pay tribute to the history that came before them.
What it does is acknowledge the actual thesis of 52, which is not, hey, what happened during the missing year, but in the absence of these great heroes, anybody can rise to take their place and become that icon, become that person the world needs. The defiance of, I think, one of the most cogent criticisms you can level at the superhero genre in general, the idea of the great man theory, that there's one person who will save us. I think what 52 thematically does is prove that even without that person, there's an opportunity for any of us to rise to fill that vacancy.
That's so comforting.
Yeah.
Right? That's so comforting and warm. And Booster entered this comic as a fucking joke, as a cruel asshole who's become even crueler through the death of his friend. And here, when you see him standing beneath a ray of light coming out through the clouded sky above him, it just feels triumphant.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a double-sized issue, and we need every page of it because we're going all the way back to week 0, day 0.
Don't you love it, comics? Don't you love comics,
baby?
Don't you love a comic book? I certainly do.
Yeah, it's why I'm here. We got Booster and Rip in the time sphere, hurtling through a collage of 52 different Earths, where Rip tells Booster what the heck is going on. That 1 year ago, we saw the birth of a new multiverse, taking us back to Infinite Crisis, an event we did not really cover except in passing reference, where one of the spines of the event was Alexander Luthor Jr., one of the last survivors from the past multiverse from Crisis on Infinite Earths, came back and wanted to create this engine to recreate his own Earth and just make a perfect world out of the grim darkness that had accumulated around the cruft of modern continuity. Sort of a commentary on how like everything had been Dark Knight and Watchmenized, which is a thing that, Jeff Johns continues to go back to, like the Banana Man from that one Tim Robinson sketch. But nevertheless, it was in that channeling of the last vestiges of the multiverse that he accidentally birthed a new one of 52 completely identical Earths. And that's the secret of 52. There's a multiverse still. Surprise.
I know all of our listeners really, really cared about that.
Yeah. I'll tell you who did really care about that was Mark Waid, a guy who invented the concept of hyper time so he could keep telling multiverse stories despite the no multiverses edict in editorial above him, that it was too complicated. This is the issue that finally throws off the yoke of multiverses are a thing people can't understand. And you can see that tiny domino falling to multiverses being the core method of how we see storytelling happen in the 2020s.
It's okay. Well, I remember being so underwhelmed by this revelation when I was but a young comics reader, because to me, they just destroyed the multiverse, right? Like a year ago. And you're telling me they're bringing it back? But here's the thing. Now, it's just a testament to me of how malleable these things are. There is no solid continuity, and you should never approach these things as a writer like there is going to be one. There's everything in the universe and multiverse will always be changing. And how wonderful is that, right? We're about to get a really fun issue of comics about this very notion.
Yeah. And the way they explain the multiverse, because they are not done, that could have been it. The idea is like, oh, there are 52 Earths now. No, we now have to add this completely other insane comic book shit on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
To make it relevant to the plot, I guess. It feels like two different ideas smushed together, but that's kind of what this entire story is. It's 4 different writers coming up with their own stuff and figuring out how they synthesize with each other or not. Rip Hunter is using the head of Red Tornado to navigate through this multiverse. That's why he's been chanting 52 this whole time. And there on the outside of all realities is where they re-encounter our evolved Mr. Mind worm with eyes all down his body.
Oh my God, he's so spooky.
Yeah.
He's so
Happy
scary.
Halloween.
Gosh. As we re-encounter the terrifying, it's such a fucking, I can't look at it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's also like such a detailed drawing of a bug, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's an insect. I get freaked out by them. And it's little mouth parts as it attempts to eat those time ship that they're in really freaks me the fuck out. But there is a really intense, convoluted plan about how they're going to defeat Mr. Mind. And it involves, in the first part, the Phantom Zone. Do you remember when we saw the Phantom Zone last in this comic?
Yeah, it was the last time they confronted Skeets when he turned evil, and they tried to use the Phantom Zone projector on him, and then he ate the Phantom Zone.
Yes. So who else was present in or around this scene?
Was that Supernova?
Yes, Supernova. Remember him?
Yeah.
Well, he's fucking back.
But how could he be back if Booster Gold is Supernova?
Oh, well, you see, Rip Hunter had a plan for that. He was expecting the Mind Flayer. Well, he's not a Mind Flayer. He was expecting this very move.
Mr. Mind.
He's a Time Flayer. Mr. Mind. He was expecting Mr. Mind to trap Daniel Booster Gold's ancestor in a loop of time. So he moved that 52-second loop into the future or the past or this phantom time zone. So the supernova suit that he's wearing could intercept the phantom zone energy as Mr. Mind throws it up.
And there's this very funny panel where Mr. Mind chases Daniel in the suit and goes, "I'll lay my eggs in your belly." And he goes, "Holy shit, let me in.
It's really funny. Yeah. It is. I love this convoluted plan because you can see that this becomes the basis for Legends of Tomorrow, which is a great TV show. It's like, what is Rip Hunter doing? Well, we didn't know when we wrote it, but we do know now.
Yeah. It's wild that they couldn't get around to using Booster Gold on Legends of Tomorrow until literally the last episode before they canceled it.
It's fucking ridiculous. But I do have hope that Gunn is going to bring back Booster Gold for the new DC universe. It just seems inevitable.
For sure. Yeah, I can't imagine him not doing Ted and Booster shenanigans.
It just feels like a very James Gunn character to you, like a loser who is a fuck up. He loves those guys.
A Booster Gold TV show was part of his initial announcement of like stuff he wanted to do when they first brought him on.
I want it so bad. I do. I love my himbo. I love my future himbo.
You just see the mechanics of the Jeff Johns Booster Gold series all laid out here. It's great. Daniel's going to be a part of it. Rip's going to be a part of it. Because we probably won't ever get around to reviewing it, I am going to reveal the spoiler here. At the very end of that series, we find out that Rip Hunter's origin is that he is actually Booster Gold's son.
I'm sorry. I was preventing myself from just screaming out loud.
Yeah.
That's so delicious.
Yeah. So every single one of these adventures he goes on is just him getting the chance to hang out with his dad that he never got to do as a kid.
Booster impregnated Ted, and then
exactly.
It was an impreg baby.
Yeah. He was Tedgnant. Booster, I'm Tedgnant.
Like Ella the cat stared at me as I cackled. She's pissed. She wants to go to sleep. Oh, baby, I'm sorry.
God, I'm gonna miss this so much.
Me too. God. Okay, so that wasn't the end of Rip Hunter's extremely convoluted plan. We are still in that zone between all of it, the origin of time, essentially.
Yeah.
And we've now still got to catch Mr. Mind. So what happens next?
What happens next is he shoots out the Phantom Zone. He's blocked by Supernova. And we get a little tie into the T.O. Morrow storyline with Rip using his future viewer to piece all this together. And Mr. Mind is chasing them through the multiverse. And as he does that, he's just chewing on the entire breadth and scope of all reality. And as he absorbs these little pieces of each of these identical Earths, he warps them into Earths very similar to the ones we knew pre-crisis, and some of them that that have arisen in Elseworld titles and non-canon titles, so that are now part of that 52 orrery of worlds, to use a term that Grant Morrison later coined. We've got Earth 17, which is the home of the Atomic Knights, which was a Strange Adventures feature in the 60s. It's about like a post-apocalyptic society where these knights rode giant Dalmatians. We see Earth 3, where we have the evil counterparts of all the Justice League members. We see Earth 10, which is the Nazi universe, where we spent a lot of time recently in Peacemaker Season 2.
I thought you were about to say we spent a lot of time recently in this world.
That's also a theme in Peacemaker Season 2, yes. For the first time, we see Earth 50, which is where all of Jim Lee's Wildstorm blorbos live, now that Wildstorm is a DC Comics thing. We have Earth 5, which is equivalent to the pre-crisis Earth S, where Billy Batson and Shazam and all the Fawcett Comics guys live. We've got Earth 22, which is some artists' as close as they can approximation to Alex Ross's style to do Kingdom Come. Earth 2, where all the Golden Age heroes lived, kind of emulating what Roy Thomas was doing in Infinity Inc. and All-Star Squadron in the 80s of like the modern day Golden Age. Earth 4, which is very like Watchmen coded, but also has all the Charlton Comics heroes in there. My boy, The Question, still lives in the multiverse. We never really get around to that again, except in one Grant Morrison one shot that a lot of people like, but I kind of don't.
That would be how you feel about it. There's just, I mean, the thing about that one shot, which is enjoyable to read if you like Watchmen generally, but is not very substantive, is that there are so many post-Watchmen books that we just don't need to do that anymore.
Right.
We just don't. That's all. It's like enjoyable, but it's like the same way that a candy bar is enjoyable.
It's that Morrison thing I was talking about last week, where Morrison will do an issue to point out how ridiculous something is, but in doing that, they are engaging in that same thing.
Yes.
But, a lot of people love it. But we are back to this multiverse. A lot of people are saying it's good. Mr. Mind, a lot of people are saying Mr. Mind spawns into a swarm of hyperflies. Booster has a crisis like, oh, this is too much for me. I can't do this. I can't believe that the entire fate of the entire multiverse comes down to me. Rip and Daniel give him a pep talk. And it's Skeets sputtering back to life in one last moment, who tells him that he can do it and that he has faith in him, that finally gives him the courage to do the one thing that the entire multiverse is depending on him to do, and build up the kinetic energy moving through this newly born multiverse to build up enough bullshit chronotons or whatever to turn Skeets into a bomb that can detonate inside Mr. Mind in order to trap him in a time loop. And we get, but there's one more thing he has to do in order to get that running. And it comes back to a thing that we were teased about a long time ago. And it's that one of the way to catalyze these like chronotons or whatever is that in order to do that, he's going to need some piece of like alien or magic technology that can do that. And the one thing he knows that can do that is Blue Beetle Scarab. So what he does is he goes right back to right after Crisis on Infinite Earths, where Blue Beetle has been kind of grafted into DC continuity for the first time after coming back to Charlton. And he has his first meeting with his best friend.
Like, it makes me cry. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. The Ted Cord Booster Gold friendship and shipping, I have to say, because a lot of people ship them, the blue and gold, right? I am among one of those people, their husbands. It is so sweet. It is so meaningful. It is so wholesome. And it was the first, like, Booster has had many arcs in which he learns to be a better person. But the first person who taught him how to be a hero was Ted. Ted doesn't have powers. He just has his intellect and all the little gadgets he makes. And he knows he'll never be a big hero, but he is driven by his desire to do good. He imparted that sense of heroism into his friend. And here, before everything else, he gets to go back and just thank him. And it's so sweet.
It makes me think of that, like the last David Tennant Doctor Who episode where right before he has to like regenerate, he goes back to meet Rose for the first time and his last time just to see her again and thank her. And they were going to be amazing.
I remember before Infinite Crisis when Ted Cord died. Fans of Ted Cord were so upset. They felt not only were upset about their character dying, though, they were also upset that like he did something heroic, but no one will ever know the extent of his heroism. It's a very good issue of a comic book, I have to say, that prelude to Infinite Crisis. It is very well written and gives Ted a lot of dignity, but it also, you're leaving a gaping hole in the hearts of all the characters that really loved him, especially Booster Gold, who he's this little like morality pet. This is the person he does good things for a lot of the time because he wants Ted to be proud of him. And here you finally feel like, I remember reading this as a fan of Ted Cord and feeling like the people writing this understood why I liked him and understood why I was sad. And that they paid tribute to his real, the fact that he died a hero. And it made me really happy.
It's worth noting the guy who wrote this scene is also the guy who killed Ted Cord.
Man, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Jeff.
No, it's Jeff really twisted the knife, but yeah. I'm so glad that Ted got a little bit of that dignity that I think a lot of fans felt was lacking from his death.
I feel Jeff is a little bit Bane about this whole thing. Like, no one really cared who Blue Beetle was before I shot him in the head.
Someone wasn't hanging out on Tumblr very much, I see.
But what's great about this scene is like not so much the like coded heartfelt message, but just getting to see them cut it up again. Just sniping at each other about how busted Skeets is and making jokes at each other.
They even do the bwahaha laugh.
Yeah, that's the last note that he leaves Ted on. Yeah. Where it's like, even if I did know what happens to you, I'm only going to say you died a hero, Ted, dressed as a dung beetle. And he disappears, having stolen Ted's scarab as he laughs to himself. And he's like, huh? Where'd that guy go?
You know, it just, Jeff Johns, okay, I'll fucking give it to you this time, right? Like, it is a perfect blue and gold, like Ted and Booster scene. It really is.
And we're going to get more of those in Jeff's series. It's very much about Booster moving on or
it's really good. Yeah. Sincerely, if you like Booster Gold,
check it out.
It's like essential. It's great.
Yeah. That volume is literally called 52 Pickup. So you can tell how much we like it. We cut once more to Dr. Savannah. Last time we saw him, he was scrambling out of Science Oolong Island, like, I gotta get fucking out of here. And he's like, oh shit, Mr. Mind's out of his cage. We gotta find a way to get out of the multiverse because we're all gonna die soon. And he's like at his manor after having disappeared for a year unceremoniously. He's like, don't even ask me where I've been. I knew where I was. We got to pack up my suspendium, which he was talking about working on a while ago. And we gotta get the hell out of the multiverse because it's all about to implode. Rip Hunter shows up, literally shoots him in the chest and steals the suspendium sphere from him. He's like, hey, I'm going to need this. You're going to thank me later. And they meet back up in the time sphere. With the chronotons they needed from the scarab on one side and the suspendium they needed from Dr. Savannah on the other. The novelization of 52 at this point does something really cool, where all of this also incorporates the bomb that Booster Gold stole from Natasha and Steel at the end of 52 number 50 during the Black Adam fight. That was like what sets off the catalyst over here that gets kind of forgotten about in this space. So I think that was a really neat way to tie that together and probably what they would have gone for if they had the space here. But from here, they're just putting together all their resources in order to create this perfect bomb that will trap Mr. Mind. And to do that, he's got to charge through the entire multiverse. So he takes us to the time lab of Rip Hunter where we see that blackboard one more time. Now we are a little more equipped to understand most, if not all, of the stuff on it. He grabs that Skeets, he runs through the multiverse, and he hurls it at Supernova like a goddamn Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, he's like, Danny, go long. Yeah. This is why we need Glenn Powell might be too big of a star. But Glenn Powell should be Booster Gold.
Yeah.
We need someone that understands football because canonically he is a failed quarterback. Like, we got to do it. And Glenn Powell is currently in a show that is like Mrs. Doubtfire, but for football. I haven't seen a single second of it, but the boy loves football. He would be so perfect. And also he's really hot. So there's that for me.
Yeah, I'm trying. You get like... You get one of those guys from like season 1 of Friday Night Lights. That's who you get. You get like a real, Jason Street.
Yeah, like a real washed up fake football guy.
Yeah, exactly.
To play another washed up fake football guy.
Yeah, Scott Porter is who I'm thinking about from season 1 of Friday Night Lights. I think he would be great here.
That sounds fantastic. Okay, and then the page we get, which is a 2-page spread of Danny, Booster Gold's ancestor from the present day, as Supernova, flying through time to catch the Skeets ball. It goes over 6 different like panels of all the different plot lines that we've been following this whole time as a representation of Danny moving through the time stream. It really is like every single page of this comic is just about the year that we've spent with these characters. It's beautiful.
It's wonderful. We've got Egg Foo back here. We've got Ralph Dibny wrestling with the evil Gene Loring. We've got the space heroes in Lobo. We've got Vic Sage dying in the snow. We've got Lex Luthor fighting John Henry Irons. We've got Black Adam crying over his wife. And way in the foreground, we have plot number 7, the Booster Gold and Supernova story, all coming together in tapestry that didn't quite overlap all the time, but helped in that they didn't quite necessarily touch, but did exist within the same framework in order to suggest a much larger world. It's why 7 Soldiers of Victory works. It's why 52.
Yeah, I between this recording and last, I watched the 3 Crisis on Infinite Earths animated films that came out. Oh, really? I mean, they're all right? It's a good enough adaptation of the events of that comic, given that the animated universe they were working with did not introduce all of the same things that would have led up to Infinite Crisis. And one of the things, though, that is really nice, because they are working with several different continuities of animated films that they were sort of concluding a universe, it does give you that same feeling of largesse, of like, this is a very big world. And like in it, Supergirl and Brainiac have already fallen in love, which I always like that pairing. Sorry. And in it, there are all of these other plot lines that have happened, or I kept recognizing characters that were suspiciously silent, like Garth, Aqualad, just in the corner there. And there's this wonderful suggestion of, yes, this world is bigger than you ever could have possibly imagined. So big that we definitely can't get to every single minute of it. It was also worth it, absolutely, for hearing the final vocal performance of Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. I loved the question cameo in that first one.
Yes, it was good. I love that one.
Stranger? No, it's a different guy. I love a big universe. This is the book that made me fall in love with DC Comics as an entity.
This issue is so good, it leaves you with such a good taste in your mouth in terms of what is possible to do in a shared universe. I think a lot of people, me especially, after 10 years of the fucking MCU, you get really depressed about the idea of a shared universe. It's like, oh, you gotta make everything fucking line up. This is a comic book that shows you, like, you actually don't. You just have to make it all feel like it's happening adjacent to each other. It doesn't actually have to line up, and there can be plot holes. Don't worry about it. Just choose every plot hole as an opportunity for another writer to fill in the answer to how that happened.
It's that bit that James Gunn keeps doing over and over in the DCU. Obstacles are opportunities.
Yes, yes. And it works. It's so far is working out for him.
Yeah.
So I think that we can all remember that Feige really wrote himself into a corner when they made the decision not to recast Black Panther. And I understand why they did it, because highly beloved actor died from a disease that many people did not know he was suffering from. It's just really sad. However, like that meant that they could every single change they made to behind the scenes had to be justified in universe. And it seems like you're just watching a whole bunch of meetings about editorial decisions. That's not how you drive a story.
Right. That's the same reason that, like, one of the most common questions I get as a guy who's professionally answers questions about comics is about how old a particular character is. And I have to tell people over and over that DC can never say how old a character is, because since they coexist in a universe together, if any character ever gets a year older, then every other character also has to get a year older. So they have to shut up about how old these guys are, because when you have this huge universe to manage, you have to keep it. You have to keep in mind that any change you make is going to affect what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, it's sort of like why do kids not stay kids for long in the DC universe or any comics books universe? It's because they would mean that no one else is allowed to progress either. Right. If you wanted to age Damian in a realistic matter of time, instead of having him be sort of like 5 to 8 for 5-ish years and then 12 to 15 for 5-ish years, like, that would mean Bruce has to age realistically. Also, if you just kind of send him to the future and he comes back a teenager, it doesn't matter anymore.
You can kind of understand why Grant Morrison ended their run by killing Damian off. Because Batman having a kid around forever holds everyone back.
Yeah, you get it, but also I'm glad that Damian's back.
Yeah, I'm also glad
you know what I
mean?
Back. He's my little murder toddler. I love him.
And we get this beautiful sequence where after spiking the bomb and trapping Mr. Mind in this year-long cycle where he will have to relive 52 over and over again, much as I have in my adult life every time I have come back to read this book. They look upon the multiverse, they return to their Earth, and Rip looking back on the planet says to Booster and to all of us, welcome home.
Way! Yeah. Like I wrote in the Discord right before we started recording. Just way! Yeah. I'm sad. I almost don't want it to be over, right?
Yeah.
Like I love these characters.
In the liner notes, the writers talk about how this scene right here is their favorite scene in the issue, where the reason that 52 is so good is because on a spiritual level, DC Comics is where they live. And that's something that I absolutely relate to 100%. I spend more time thinking about this comic book universe than I probably do the real world, and that's not quite healthy for me.
You know, like a month ago, I thought about Batman, just the concept of Batman for about 10 seconds, and then I immediately had to start reading Batman comics.
Right.
I started reading the Dan Watters Strange Patterns. Oh man,
Dark Patterns is
Dark
so
Patterns.
Good.
Yes, it's so good.
Dark
and I also started reading.
Good.
It's like what I want a Batman comic to be. Like
it's the Batman comic right now.
It's just a fucked up gothic mystery. We love that.
Hayden Sherman just fucking nailing it on that art.
The art is so good. And then I also started.
I saw Hayden Sherman at Comic-Con, and I was like, "Hey, Hayden Sherman, how come you doing the best Wonder Woman comic and the best Batman comic
it's kind of
at the same fucking time? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, you know, and then I also picked up Ram V's Gotham Nocturne, and that one's so good I have to treat it like a book. Like I have to sit down and really absorb it. I love everything Ram V did with the League of Assassins and the League of Shadows. I think that's the Ram V's use of those Arab stereotypes and then redeeming them into actual characters. That's why I always say that I would actually like to see an Arab Ra's al Ghul and Talia, because I know it's possible to make them interesting and actual characters. You just have to care about them.
Maybe the only time that Talia has ever really lived up to the potential that Talia's fans have seen in her.
Yes, just that scene of Bruce and her having tea.
God,
where they
it's all everybody wants. Yeah,
it's just you want that. I just love her in that book. She is the mother to Damian that I want her to be, and also the proud leader that just happens to have opposing goals to Batman, to her ex-lover. It's just delicious conflict. I love it.
feels like the only writer in history who can keep in his head how important Talia is to Batman and how important Catwoman is to Batman at the same time.
Yes, where it's the thing with the Bat and the Cat is that they do belong each other. That's a Pride and Prejudice type problem. Mm-hmm. But with Talia and Bruce, they keep wanting to be together, but then when they try it, they know that they are not correct for each other. And it's the two different tensions are both essential to what makes Batman Batman.
It's Austen versus Shakespeare.
Yes, very, 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 very much. And he gives Talia a very Shakespearean arc.
Isn't
it crazy? It just comes from introducing more Arab characters.
Right.
Wild that.
I'm reading Ram V's These Savage Shores right now, and it's remarkable how much context it gives that Gotham Nocturne story, where you can see one as a reverse side of the other, of just the white colonizer coming into this South Asian world, whereas Arkham, his Orgum arc is about the connection between this this Middle Eastern South Asian community and the origins of Gotham City, and you can see these two worlds crossing over with each other in opposite ways.
Okay, that's on my list now.
Telling similar stories, but they complement each other so well.
He's a really fantastic writer with really immense ideas. It's almost too dense for me to read casually, but it's great comics. And you know what? I am right there with you. I always say to myself, "Oh, I'm not a fanboy. I'm a critic." But no, I am a fan. I am a fanboy.
You can be both.
I do love just thinking about these characters and turning them over my head. I started loving Batman when I was a child.
Right.
I do in some ways live in the DC universe.
If this podcast has a thesis, I think it's that it is possible to have a brain and a heart about comics.
Yes. I think that's really, really true.
Yeah. It
is possible to love something with your entire heart and also think critically about it with your brain.
Yeah. They are not mutually exclusive. It's possible to get carried away, but you don't have to. And as Rip Hunter welcomes Booster home, we get these little flashes around the world of all these little epilogues to our storylines. We've got Checkmate coming together for Greg Rucka's Checkmate run. We've got Steelworks coming together for an Infinity Inc. spinoff that won't be very good, but they can't all be gems. We've got Black Adam paying his respects to Isis. We've got that Jodie Picoult Wonder Woman story. We've got my favorite little panel here, Black Adam walking away wearing a pair of alligator boots. You know who that is.
I mean, and deserved, right?
Yeah.
Let him have this one thing. And then the next 2 pages are, I think,
Derek Robertson on art, just doing something absolutely incredible that I would have read an entire series about.
Yes,
and
I
just
think
nobody fucking does anything with.
Literally everyone wanted this. The fans on Scans Daily, I remember, were screaming when they saw these 2 pages.
Because it's so good.
It's what people wanted. This was the suggestion people started making as soon as Ralph Dibny's wife died in Identity Crisis. They were like, well, I mean, if she's got to be dead, then maybe they could be ghost mystery solvers, ghost detectives, you know, like the 1940s detectives that they take inspiration from. It is such a good idea.
That is, from what I understand, what Mark Waid wanted to do from the beginning. And he's like, I wanted to drag Ralph through hell so I could take them into this really cool new direction where they could solve mysteries together. And this would have been like an incredible backup to Detective Comics or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That didn't happen. Instead, Greg Rucka took over Detective Comics to do a Batwoman and Renee Montoya question story, which is great. That was a good call, but we did miss out on this. As you were just saying, not every idea in the DC universe can be followed up on, but eventually somebody can run with it.
You know, at the very least, so the 2 panels here, or the 2 pages here, there's an explosion in an elementary school in Sheffield, Alabama. And then as the teachers and administrators are wondering where the kids have gone, we see the ghosts of Ralph and his wife. And she says to him, your nose is twitching, honey. And
it's so
at the very least, like, we know that they're in love somewhere together forever. And like, at least they get this happy ending finally, you know? Like, if they're going to leave them in a moment, then I'm happy that this is the moment that they've been left in.
Yeah.
I just wish we had that book.
It's a really interesting thing because in the DC universe is a place where we know with 100% certainty that heaven and hell are real. So
yeah, I know, that's really funny.
So like when a guy dies, it's like, oh, they just went to this other place, which is very like Akira Toriyama Dragon Ball Z of them. And some writers play with that in interesting ways. This is one of them. Gail Simone does some really cool stuff with that in her Secret Six series, where she introduces this like get out of hell free card, where it's like, well, hell is real and we're all supervillains, so we need this thing to get out of it. Otherwise, it's going to be the worst. It creates a problem for street level books when you like literally have like, oh, this guy died, but don't worry about it. He's just like on vacation now. But you know, you don't have to hold all of those ideas in your head at once. If you start thinking about why doesn't Superman just clean up all the crime in Gotham in 30 seconds? The universe doesn't hang together, but there's a certain suspension of disbelief and fragmentation you do need to bring to this comic book universe in order to understand it. They are things that come together when it's interesting and stay apart when it's interesting. And I don't think that's too much to ask of a reader to hold in their head.
Yeah, I mean, what's that quote Grant Morrison says about adults struggle with the logic of comic books, but kids know the essential truth for reading these things. They're not real.
Right. Nobody pumps the tires of the Batmobile.
No, nobody does. They always have perfect tire pressure. Why? Because he's fucking Batman. Don't worry about it.
We go back to a beautiful community, a little suburb, Will Magnus's house, looking very much like the neighborhood he used to visit T.O. Morrow in every Tuesday, where he has one last gift for Booster. He managed to back up Skeets' hard drive, getting his little buddy back up and running for him, minus the past year of events. And honestly, why would Skeets want to remember this? So here's your friend back, minus all the trauma.
That's what we all want, right?
Yeah. Don't you wish you could delete a year from your brain sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God.
I'm coming on a decade of that.
Oh, boy. Just remember me as I was once a child with hope. No, not anymore. Gosh, moving into day 7 of the 52nd week of this comic book.
We're in Gotham. Day 365.
And do you remember the end of the first issue?
Yeah, I remember the end of the first issue. I think I can recall the end of the first issue.
What was your favorite character in all of the universe of fictional characters doing in that final pages?
It's only tattooed permanently on every fold of my brain. Where in this beautiful 9-panel grid, we see him peeling away the bat emblem from the bat signal on top of the GCPD building, spray painting a backwards question mark and shining it through Renee Montoya's window to send her a message about who she is. And here on a night in Gotham City, we return to that same scene. Renee Montoya herself on that roof using a little paint scratcher, little razor to remove that question mark from the signal, paste a bat back on, spray it on permanently, fix it back on there. And we cut to Kate Kane in her swanky penthouse apartment, trying to wave off the trauma of the cult of crime that she had just been through. Like, I'm okay. Nothing really happened. I'll be fine. And she's just kind of trying to go back to her normal life before Kate came storming back into it at the beginning of all this, when a light shines through her window. And it's not a question. It's a bat. And
what does Renee ask?
She tells her remotely from the other side of the window. She has one last question for her. And we'll get to that question in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that question in a little bit.
We'll get to that later.
We got some other stuff that we need to talk about before we get there.
We got the title drop finally, A Year in the Life, where we get all of our credits from the issue. And a very sweet special thanks to Stephen Wacker, who got this whole ship running to begin with. Wacker and Siglane, really the two halves of the spine that kept all this running. No backup this issue. That's just it. They left it all on the table. There's nothing else to say.
It's just so good. It's just so good.
It's
just so good. Do you understand? It's just the story with a beginning, middle, and end. How rare is that in comics? And also, you really feel like they lived up to all the promises they made with this story. Like, you feel fulfilled for having finished it and for going on this journey with them. It is so worth reading this. It is so worth reading this over and over and over again, and I hope you guys do.
The promises they didn't make to us as readers, the promises they made to each other. And that's kind of what matters. A lot of the people who do not like this book are the people who were promised a thing by editors and were not given that. But you didn't want that. You didn't want an explanation of these completely insane mysteries that were dreamed up in someone's office over a weekend. You wanted to see a bunch of top of their game creators really putting it all out there for the guys they care about. And it's all about coming into it with the spirit in which it was created, not the spirit in which it was marketed. And that's why we're here, to follow it from that way. And we did it. We've absolutely covered every step of 52. I don't think there's anything else to say about it. And if there is, write in, and maybe we'll get around to it. But God, that was 52.
That was 52. Okay. What is your favorite scene from just this issue?
It's Welcome Home.
Of course. Mine is Meeting Ted.
Yeah.
It's got to be Meeting Ted for me. Like,
it's Welcome Home because after reading all of this, it's the realization, yes, this is where I live now. And I've been living there since 2007.
Yes. Yeah. No, the Ted thing, like, it was closure on the thing that got me really into comics. Was learning about Ted after Ted's death, learning from Ted fans why they were so upset. It got me doing the thing where you read random runs of things and then go, oh, I wonder what this writer's doing. Yes. I wonder what this artist is working on now.
This is the start of all of it. Yeah.
And then feeling like something was missing, like I wished that Ted was back. And then seeing him again and seeing the same writer remind us why that death hurt so much, but also give us a sense of closure on that. That is comics. That's comics. That's what I love about them.
Beyond this scene, what I want to do at this point is take our 7 storylines and rank them. Because people ask me all the time what my favorite storyline in 52 is. And like the answer should be obvious, but I think there's a sliding scale here. So the 7 storylines of 52 are the Black Adam story, the Booster Gold story, the Elongated Man story, the Question story, the Oolong Island story, the Space Hero story, and the Seal story. How do we want to arrange those?
Okay, Question story number 1.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, duh. So that's just a given. And then for me, it's the Booster story for its strong beginning, strong ending, where I'm happy that that's where we start. And I'm also I'm happy that's where we end. And I think that its conclusion really, it lives up to all that time that we spent without it, that when we see it come back and it's the conclusion arc, it really feels meaningful and significant. It is a called shot.
The Booster story lands its ending better than any other story, which is why it is the 52nd issue.
Yeah.
They realize that this is the one story we have to tell to bring it all home.
Yeah.
And as great as the Question story is throughout, it's really this issue of Booster Gold that puts it up at number 2.
Yeah.
I think the Steel story is really underrated.
You're right. The Steel story should be 3, and Science Squad is a really close 4th.
Right.
Science Squad is only 4th because it's pretty short. It's in the scheme of things.
It's abrupt, but it's the most fun that anyone is having in this book.
Yeah. I think after that, in terms of individual like issues where I'm like, holy shit, like the story is wild and crazy. I do think it is Elongated Man.
Yes.
Which is crazy to put it 5th because usually that comes up in my head as one of the major storylines of this. But it's just like misery after misery after misery after misery.
Such a pain the entire time.
He's just not having a good day.
To get through.
Yeah, well, they do brilliant things like the Halloween issue. I thought was really fantastic, but it is just like your heart hurts reading it. Like it's hard.
It's like in the middle of this silly, let's get all these super scientists hopped up on cocaine and have them make doomsday machines. Suddenly we get a couple pages of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, I'm so glad now you know what Jujutsu Kaisen is. I can make these jokes to you. God.
Yeah.
And then it feels wild to put Black Adam as 6th, but I do think also it's just wildly inconsistent is the thing.
Yeah, the politics of it all.
The politics of it all, and then it's got like my favorite twist in the thing, which is Sobek. Yeah. It's just such a shocking image. I'm so glad they went for it. But it's got like some of the highest highs, but also some of the lowest lows. Like just the World War III as a concept just doesn't make sense. And also is boring to read.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And then, of course, last is Space Heroes.
Yeah, last is Space Heroes.
That is truly something that only got good once they came back to Earth.
At the very, very end.
Yeah, seriously.
Last issue.
God. Yeah, so our ranking it from the top is Question, Booster, Steel, Science Squad, Elongated Man, Black Adam, and then way last Space Heroes.
So you can stop asking me. That's it. That is the canonical ranking.
Wonderful.
Here at the very end, is there anything you want to put up on the blackboard?
I do genuinely want to ask myself. I want to ask you, myself, and any writer out there who is willing to answer my question. if Booster had managed to have an actual career in the NFL, what would have that looked like? You know, if he hadn't sucked and cheated and decided to actually in the 25th century, like what kind of a football player, what kind of career is he having? Do they have CTE in the future, or have they solved all that?
I think that Booster, despite how much he wants to ignore it, is a good person at his very core. I think he would end up like in this like industrialized sport, flame out Colin Kaepernick style. I think there would be something that happened to him that he could not stand, and he could not like silently abide, and would be drummed out of football 4 at some point. Because ultimately Booster is a good boy. That's
so true. He wants to be an unabashed capitalist, but his great tragedy is that he's actually a good person.
Yeah.
I think you're right. There would have been a Colin Kaepernick style controversy. And he's so stubborn and so vain that he would have stuck by his guns.
Right.
You know, like he is a stubborn person.
And then he would try to capitalize off it by writing a children's book or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, he is destined to be a hero, and the arc of the universe would have always bent towards that.
Yeah. Here's what I want to put on the blackboard. Mark Waid talks about how the original solution to the secret of 52 wasn't that there was a multiverse. That was something they came up with later, despite the fact that the series opens on that kind of multiverse teaser panel. If you go back all the way to episode 1, we talk about it, how the first page of this is this like shot of a sort of multiverse of worlds. That was an accident. That was not what they wanted. They were just like kind of mirroring the imagery of Infinite Crisis there to say, oh, this is all happening after Infinite Crisis. The idea of 52 being there are 52 Earths came later. And Mark Waid said that the secret of 52 was originally something else, and he will never tell anyone what it was. What I want to know is, before this, what was the number 52 supposed to represent in this story?
That's a really good question that we will literally never know the answer to.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any ideas? What would you make the secret of 52 if it's not the multiverse?
I would make the secret of 52 that after all of this, the Justice League reforms, and the idea that this universe is so much bigger than our core heroes manifests itself with a roster of 52 heroes, where we have our main guys, but we also have all of these weirdos, like reflecting the success of Justice League Unlimited, which, as we have said time again, has inspired this. We see people like Renee Montoya and Animal Man and Steel and the ghost of Ralph Dibny, all as like members of the Justice League. And it's just like the 52 heroes. I think that's what I would do.
That would have been so good. I have a similar idea where it's like, throughout, you know, there's the story of 52 that describes the secret heroes that have been keeping things together while the Trinity is gone.
Yeah.
But concurrently to that, because they have done such a good job holding it down in the interim, they're introduced into like a league of 52 other heroes.
Yeah.
That are the secret. Yeah. Like that are more secretive than like the Justice League. They are the secret people.
52.
The 52.
Like there's a concept in Talmudic Judaism of the 36 tzaddikim.
Actually, yeah.
Of like these people who toil without name or fame, who like on their virtues the world keeps spinning. That's the 52.
As the Trinity comes back during that funeral, these heroes are invited into the 52, where they'll meet their, you know, there's been an opening for a select few, and we've been watching you from the shadows. So It's a similar idea. The 52 universes did feel like a letdown when I heard about it, because I've been reading it for a year, and I was like, the multiverse again? Come on, guys.
And Detective Chimp is there, and Shade the Changing Man is there, and Brother Power the Geek is there.
All my best friends are there. Yeah.
Bring it in, guys. It's Game Master Anthony's birthday party.
It's Game Master Gita's birthday party. Yeah, and now that I have like let go of my attachment to this idea that all my favorite characters would have come back at the end of this or something or whatever, I don't mind the universes, because also the multiverse has become good with the absolute line. They finally figured out what to do with it.
Yeah.
And now the multiverse is like, has this weird cosmology that doesn't make any sense and is goofy and crazy. I like it now.
Yeah. That brings us to asking the questions. We have a lot of great heartwarming messages from readers, from listeners who don't really have any questions, but clearly this show has meant a lot to them. And I'm right with you. One listener has a correction that I will address right now, that in a previous episode, I referred to a quote from King Solomon. It was actually Rav Hillel. I apologize for that. It's been a while since I was in yeshiva, but there you have. I got it on the record. If not now, when was Hillel, not Solomon. But yeah, it's just just in these past weeks, I've seen so much outpouring of love from people who just, this show has clearly meant a lot to them and has like helped them back into comics. I cannot count for you how many just brick heavy omnibuses of 52 you and I have sold just by talking about this. We should really be employed by DC Comics at this point.
No,
we are their marketing branch, and they do not pay us. You pay us with your subscriptions to aftermath.site, which have made this show possible. And I just deeply thank you from the bottom of my heart that I have been able to that Gita, you, along with the listeners, have brought me along on this ride to do this long form exploration of what I think probably constitutes Aftermath's longest and most in-depth project since it was founded.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is there anything else on this level that they've been that Aftermath has been cooking for this long?
The company itself.
The company itself, yes.
And also the party I've been planning for like 6 months. But
right.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, like on a journalistic level.
This has been a real, something I'm very proud to have been producing. And I'm just happy that Aftermath has been able to host it for these 2-ish years.
Yeah.
You know, coming up on our 2nd anniversary of the website.
When we sat in a Barnes & Noble to do this, I said, okay, Gita, I feel like the only way to do this that makes sense is this is a weekly show. We need to put out an episode every week. And you said, absolutely not. And,
no, because that would be way too much work for both of us, and it would have killed us both. Yeah. And I think that giving people a chance to get caught up with us also when they start in the middle ended up being really beneficial for us. And I'm just honestly so proud of how this is going to stand as a document that people can listen along with us whenever they choose to read 52. And I hope you do come back and read along with us again sometime.
Keep your comments coming to 52mailbag@gmail.com. I'll read them. I'll send them to Gita.
Please do. Please, please, please do. And we have one more episode to wrap up the whole thing coming through. Just to talk about the highs and lows and go over all the storylines and answer a bunch of questions.
Get your questions in.
Please do. I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. I'm really not. I love comics too much. And I have to say, this project also got me back into reading currently releasing comics in a big, big way. I've become more adventurous and more curious. And I've discovered a lot of new books that I deeply, deeply love. I have a reason to go to my local again. So I wanted to thank you, Jaffe. I've loved doing this with you.
It's been such a delight getting to do this with you 2 or 3 times a month.
And the reason why I'm late every single time you record is because I want it to last longer.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be over yet.
We keep delaying because we don't want to say goodbye. But
it's like getting off the phone with my mom.
Yeah. Just like working on this inspired me to create another comic book podcast, which is like inspired by the idea of living in a breathing, interconnected universe every week.
Yes. And if you miss us, please check out DC Action News. It is so fun. You may hear me as Lois Lane once or twice. I think I did a pretty good job being Lois.
You were great. You were absolutely great.
I love being Lois.
Yeah. We recently recorded a great like sports themed episode about the DC KO event, just like analyzing the bracket March Madness style.
I cannot wait to listen to that.
Yeah.
It's very fun. And you and Asper do an incredible job.
Thank you so much. Well, that's it for 52, number 52. We have a little more to talk about.
Just one last thing.
Oh, yeah. Right? There was something else that happened on that last page.
On the last page, you never got to it. I just want to make sure you remembered. Right. the question now in the Renee Montoya as the question.
Yeah.
She asked Kate one last thing. Can you read that for us?
She shines that signal through her window, blinds her with the light of the bat signal, which now means as much for her as it does for Batman himself. And she asks him, and she just brings it all around by asking her the very thing that Vic Sage posed to her at the very beginning of this entire series. Are you ready?
Jaffe, I really am not ready to say goodbye to this. But here's the thing. All things end. And this does too.
Nothing ever ends. It just changes.
Literally cry. Stop. "52 Pickup" is an Aftermath production created by Gita Jackson and Alex Jaffe and edited by Esper Quim with original music by John Aaron. Hosting for 52 Pickup is provided by Insert Credit. The views and opinions expressed on this show are solely those of the show's personalities and do not reflect those of DC Entertainment or Warner Brothers. Please rate and review our show wherever you can and send your questions and comments to 52mailbag@gmail.com. Never stop reading comics.